Xiaomi released the Mi4i recently, and there have been a lot of questions that we're getting. Does the device heat up a lot? How's the camera performance? How's the battery performance? And so on. While we're busy with the detailed review, we thought we'll just jump in between to give you a detailed review of the gaming performance and how the device heats up. Just to let you know, the norm is that when you're going on the high performance mode in any smartphone and doing resource intensive gaming, the device will heat up. So it's not that heating is an issue, but then how much does the device heats up? If it's heating somewhere in the range of 50, then yes, there could be some problem because you won't be able to hold the device at all. So this is GK from TechPP.com, and today we are doing the gaming review of the Mi4i. Let's roll. So for starters, we've put the device on the performance mode in here to push the device to its limits, and then we'll be testing the device for a couple of resource intensive games, which is the Asphalt 8 and the Riptide GP2. So we'll also monitor the temperature before and after, and then see how the device performs. So let's look at the temperature now before we start anything. This is the area where the processor is situated under the hood, so that is where it makes sense for us to take the temperature. So it's around 34. Yeah, so 34 it is. There's also a way to monitor the temperature within the OS as well. So let's look at the temperature, and there it is, 34 as well. So let's start gaming. I'll start with the Asphalt 8. Quick to load. Getting some good sound effects as well. We haven't altered with any of the graphic settings of the game, so it would be what the game comes by default. This is the Nevada track. Like I just mentioned, the sound is really good, loud, crisp and clear, and the display as well. It's literally a feast to the eyes, the color rendering, no stutters or lags. You can actually appreciate the goodness of the display when you see certain splashes. There you see those spots. At the risk of repeating myself, I must admit the sound is really great. At the end of the day, that is what is going to give you a good experience when you're gaming. The last time I played this game was on my OnePlus One and then the Redmi 2, but this is far better in terms of the rendering of the colors and different things. And the fact that Mi4i is so thin and light, it's such a good experience to hold the device. You're not feeling the weight and you can concentrate more on the game itself. There you see the splash. So let's look at the temperature now. It's been close to 5 minutes since I started gaming. So it's 45. 45, 47, 49. Yeah, it did reach 50, just very close to the camera. So we'll consider that as 50. So let's look at what the operating system software tells us about the temperature. That's 43 there. Okay, so that's what it is. So let's move on to the next game, which is the Riptide GP2. So it's been fairly quick enough to load, and the sound again has been very nice. But now I'm starting to feel a little bit of uncomfortness on my left hand. We saw the rise in the temperature as well. Though we saw a rise in temperature, we haven't seen any lags or any stutters or frame losses so far, which is good. And most likely, most of us would get a case along the device that would cover up the back portion of it, so it might not be that uncomfortable either in your gaming. No, but we did see that the temperature hitting 50, so it might get a tad uncomfortable, but let's see. Just to remind you again, this is running on a Snapdragon 615 octa-core processor, the second generation, and has 2 gigs of RAM, 64-bit processor. So at the start of the video, I showed you that we put the device on the performance mode, and if we were to put that on the balance mode, the heating will not be as much as we've just seen. So probably would be in the range of 45, 47, but not suddenly 50. So let's look at the temperature now. So it's staying there at 51. The max temperature is 51. Let's look at what the software says. So it says 46 degrees. Probably the software is not as accurate as the temperature gun that we're bringing in, and the temperature gun is taking the temperature at the outer surface, whereas this could be taking something that is interior. So that's the reason why you see a difference, but for all practical purposes, we should be considering what the gun shows. So that was the gaming of the Mi4i. What we'll further do now is go ahead and game for at least 20 to 30 minutes, and then come back and report to you if we saw any stutters or lags or frame losses and things like that, and also monitor the temperature as we do that. Alright, so we've been gaming on the Mi4i for about 20 to 25 minutes, and we're already feeling a lot of heat now all around the phone, especially the top region, as I mentioned before, and also on the sides, the bottom, everywhere. And that's one of the reasons I had to put down my phone, because it was really getting hot. So let's take a look at the temperature. So that's 54, 55, so that's quite a lot. 56. So I put down the device for a couple of minutes, so probably it might be 57, 58 as well, but it's really hot and I'm hardly able to hold the device. So that was the gaming performance on the Mi4i on the performance mode with the volume set to max, and we've been gaming continuously for 20 to 30 minutes. So we've seen the Mi4i getting pretty heated up in the performance mode. What we'll do next is put the device to the balance mode and try to see how the temperature rises or drops, and also watch out for the games giving us any lags or stutters and frame drops. So let's look at the temperature. Or even before that, I'll just show you that we've moved the device off the performance mode. So it's on the balance mode right now. And the temperature, it's 36. So this is what we started off with even in the performance mode. Let's start gaming. And before that, probably you can look at the temperature on the software as well. 37, pretty close. Let's start with the Asphalt 8. One of the key things with the design of the Mi4 is the positioning of the speaker grill. It comes at the back as compared to the one on the Mi4, which used to come at the bottom here. And usually when you're gaming, you tend to hold the device in the landscape mode, and the speakers used to get covered with your hands, and that kind of prevented the actual sound output. But then this is at the back, though you're placing your hands at the back, it wouldn't completely cover the speakers. So let's see. There's a slight difference nonetheless when I compare this to the performance mode. I felt that it was a tad smooth, but then yeah, it's negligible. Maybe I'm just nitpicking, but it's just a slight difference. The good thing is that there were no stutters, no lags, or no frame losses, and this way or that way, it's going to happen. So the key thing about the heating aspect of the phone is, is not to be seen when you're gaming with resource-intensive games and pushing it to the limits on the performance mode, but during other use cases, like when you're talking over the phone, when you're downloading stuff, when you're browsing stuff, when you're using the camera and things like that, if the temperature goes beyond the tolerance limits, that is when we probably should consider the device has some heating issues. But so far in our usage of this phone, during our review, we haven't seen any such case, which means that the device is still good to go for and doesn't have any heating issues. So we'll be back with a complete detailed review of the Mi4i, and we'll give you more insights into how it performed around different other aspects. For now, we did the gaming and we saw that this has no issues apart from in the performance mode. There was a bump up in the temperature up to 56, 57, and the overall device got heated up. So that is considered an issue, but then since we saw no lags or stutters in the balance mode, one can always go with the balance mode and live with it. Until next time, this is GK from TechPP.com signing off. Bye-bye.